Okay, today's lesson is going to be similar to next week's lesson, whereby it's a revision format. Okay, so I already told you all, most of you all last week, I reminded you to print out today's worksheet. I don't know whether you all did it. I hope you did it. If you didn't, there are some notes that I would like you all to make for revision purposes. So you all have to find paper to copy that somewhere, and then don't throw the paper away at the end of today's lesson. So I make myself very clear again, next week, very important, especially for next week, I want you to print the worksheet out. Because next week we are doing revision for P5 and P6 topics, which is more important than P3 and P4 topics. So please remember to print the worksheet out next week so that you have space to copy out the notes that I will be adding on to the worksheet. Hao Qian, is that clear? Christina, is that clear? Manisha, okay? So I give you 1 week's notice lah. Even if you don't have printer at home, get your parents to print it out at their workplace. All right? Okay, I'm going to start. First question is actually a question on sorting, grouping, whatever you call it. For the first 2 questions, I don't see much of a problem. Okay, but for part C, so far I saw nobody got it correct. So let's have a look. What characteristic did Raymond use to classify the objects above? So obviously they are sorted out very nicely according to their Yu Heng. A is what? How are they sorted out?
Patterns.
Are you sure patterns or not? Look, group A is all what? Group B is all what? Group C is all what? Super straightforward. How are they sorted out? Yes?
Rectangles.
So what is that? Rectangles, triangles, squares. What is that?
Shape.
A. Yes, shapes. Okay, for those who don't know, give me some other funny answer. Please copy down. Okay, copy out your corrections. Caleb, can you please copy when I'm talking? I know you didn't even try this question, so please go and copy it out. Okay, I'm going to move on. Now, this one, some of you couldn't answer this question. Lillian, state another characteristic that Raymond can use to classify the objects into 2 groups. So now instead of 3 groups, I only want 2 groups, which means each group has 3 objects. So what can I use to classify these objects into 2 separate groups?
Colors.
Good, either color or pattern. Okay, so all the unshaded ones in one group, all the shaded ones in one group. I have some people who write shaded or unshaded. That's fine. Okay? Now, the third one. A lot of y'all tell me it's shaded or unshaded again. You cannot repeat your answer. All right, so what is another way that I can classify the objects into 2 groups? Anybody has any idea? Let's see. Those who haven't seen this question before. Yes, Manisha.
Number of sides each
Very
object
good, the number of sides. Okay, so Javen, if you look, I will be able to classify group A with these 4 objects. And group B with these 2 objects. Okay, so answer is number of sides. Very good. For those who got the correct answer, good job. For those who didn't, please write down the correct answer. All right. Caleb, I can't see you. Are you there? Copy our corrections, please. Yu Heng, you following? Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. This question, I have nothing much to talk about. I highly doubt such a question will come out in your PSLE lah, huh? It's too simple already. But never mind, let's move on. Okay, this question. Now, a lot of y'all couldn't give me the correct answer. Y'all know what's going on, okay? But your explanation is still not there. So let's go through it, okay? The experiment is basically using different fabrics, P, Q, R. And I soak them or I dip them into water. So we are going to look at how much water is left after 2 minutes, and also the mass of the fabric after 2 minutes. Okay, initially there's 50 ml of water. All right, so Hao Qian, can you tell me which material did not absorb? So this question is on absorption of water, whether or not the material can absorb water. Okay, so Hao Qian, based on the table, can you tell me which material did not absorb any water at all?
Material B. I mean,
Why?
material P.
Why?
Because the mass of fabric remain the same and the amount of water left also remain the same.
How you know the mass of fabric remain the same? You know the original mass, meh? Let's just look at this one. The amount of water?
The amount of water remain the same.
Good. Guys, can you write this down? So, because the amount of water remains the same, it shows that, Javen, this material is what? How will you describe this material? A material that cannot absorb water is water. That's very good. Right? Everybody agree? Waterproof? Okay, so now let's look at the mass. You notice that this mass is 20 grams. All the other masses of Q and R are higher. Why? Because they absorb the water. So what is the original mass of the fabric? What is the original mass of the fabric, Caleb?
Um, 50?
Are you sure? Do you listen to what I was talking about just now? Which material did not absorb water, Caleb?
Q and R.
Huh? Are you sure or not?
Wait,
Which
no,
material did not absorb water? What?
P.
Because the water remained at 50, correct, Caleb? So what is the original mass of the fabrics?
20.
Thank you. So one more thing that you need to take note here is the fabrics are all the same at the start. Fabrics of equal mass. If you look here, I'm just going to highlight this. 3 different fabrics of equal mass. So at first, they are all 20 grams. So here I need to explain. How do I explain? So first, I need to talk about this portion. The fact that P is waterproof. That is the evidence, okay? So I'm going to mention what I see in the diagram, what I see in the table. The amount of water. I'm teaching you all how to answer questions like this, so you all need to take note, okay? Start off with the evidence. The amount of water in the container with fabric T remains the same, suggesting no water was absorbed. And as what Javen said, and P is waterproof. So this is the evidence. Then I need to go on to talk about the mass. Because it's waterproof, it didn't absorb anything. So this is the original mass. So 20 grams is the original mass of the fabrics, all the fabrics are, so there's a S here, as, look, they are identical at the start, as they are of equal mass at the start. So this is my explanation. All right, so you look at the question. They're asking you to explain. I need to give evidence, then I explain what the evidence means. So break down your answer into 2 portions. I'll give you all some time to copy, okay? While you are copying, I will quickly look at some of the work that I haven't got a chance to look at. 浩千传. So some of you for this question, okay, you just mentioned that P did not absorb any water. How do you know that P did not absorb any water? You need to tell the examiner that amount of water remains the same. All right? A lot of you are not doing your homework properly, doing it in a rush, I can tell. Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay, Jiaping is okay. Aiman, we are going through corrections. Can you please go through? Aiman, I think when you did your homework, you only did 2 questions because there was a system error. Okay, there are actually 7 questions. So I need you to copy down all the corrections.
I don't have anything on me right now.
Aiman, do you hear me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, if you don't have time to copy this, can you take a picture of it? Then I'm going to move on already. Christina, are you okay? Aiman, can I move on? Okay. Now, this question, again, explanation problem. A lot of y'all cannot explain properly. Samuel, this is the second part to this is the second part to the experiment. So in this part, he is putting the fabric inside the water. In this part, he has removed the fabric. Okay? And he is looking at the fabric 20 minutes after removing it. You will notice the mass changes. From 50 grams, these two, it became 30 and 45 grams. Aiman, why? Why did these 2 fabrics mass decrease?
The mass decrease because the fabric
This one soaking in water. This
yeah,
one,
the fabric soaks up the water.
I know, this one already soak up 50 grams. This one has been removed from the water for 20 minutes. So why did the mass decrease?
Because the water exited the fabric.
Huh? The water what?
The water it evaporated. The water evaporated.
Okay, basically what I'm hearing is